Hey guys, so I'm Peter Hurley and you're in my studio and I have a ton of light modifiers behind me because I am doing this tutorial to show you how to mold the face with light. This is all about shaping the face and seeing what we can do. You might know me for my headshot work. I've shot actors for 12 years on a white background. I use a simple KinoFlow mixed strobe setup, which we're gonna go over in this video as well. But I also shoot celebrity portraits and a ton of other stuff. And when I'm out on location or I'm in the studio and I want a different look to my light, I'm using strobes, guys. And I'm using modifiers and I'm mixing it up and I'm getting in there and I'm watching exactly what it's doing to the face. So we're gonna give you answers for why this modifier does something, then this modifier, then that modifier. And we're gonna compare it all and you're gonna learn from this. You're gonna be able to know exactly what lighting is doing to the human face. Guys, all of my career, the light on the face has always been the most important thing. Yes, I shoot portraits and I worry about the body, and if I'm shooting fashion stuff, I worry about the clothes, but it's really all about lighting the face for me. So in this tutorial, we are gonna go and run the gamut of lighting. We're gonna go into soft light, we're gonna go into hard light, we're gonna go into where the shadows are, when you wanna fill them, how you wanna fill them. We're gonna go how to accentuate cheekbones and jaw lines and all this kind of stuff that's really imperative that you get into your shots when you're taking pictures of the face. Have you ever looked through magazines and seen images and you'd be like, I wonder how they do that? We're gonna start to demystify that a little bit for you and give you a sense of why images look the way they do and what could be going on in that image. So you're gonna be able to deconstruct them and recreate something similar in your own way. Guys, this is not a tutorial on camera settings. If I say I'm stopping down, I'm not gonna tell you I'm stopping down from 11 to f16. I wanna say I'm stopping down, you know I'm gonna be stopping down. If I'm shooting strobe, I'm gonna go for a low ISO. If I'm shooting the Kinos or continuous light, I might raise my ISO a little bit. That's about it. You don't really need to know much more. Even if I gave you every single measurement, which would be tedious and ridiculous, and for you to try and match it up in your studio would be darn near impossible, you're not gonna get the same shots that I got. It's gonna be different. You're gonna have to build this awareness on your own and actually see light as it hits your subject's face. You don't need a light meter to do it, you need an eye and an awareness. Over the course of this tutorial, you're gonna develop a basic understanding of light that is gonna allow you to light any face in any situation and have control and do it the way that you wanna do it, so it becomes your light. So guys, as we go through this, we're going light by light, modifier by modifier. We're keeping the model straight, looking straight into the camera and watching what the light does specifically on their face. I'm not worried about direction at this point. I'm not going for a final image. I'm simply going for the light and learning what the light's doing over each of their faces. At the end, we're gonna go ballistic and we're gonna go into trying to get some shots for my portfolio and for the models' portfolios for whatever they would wanna use, and really get down to the nitty gritty and make sure I've got everything from styling, hair, makeup, expression, and my direction right on. Let's talk about the lighting for this video. I don't want you to think you have to go out and buy tons of expensive gear, but for this video, we decided to stick with one manufacturer, and ProPhoto has been the industry standard for pros for a while. I happen to use it and like it, so that's why we used it. This is my D1 head. The thing that really works for us, and in the very beginning and throughout the beginning of the tutorial, we shoot with the modeling lights. The reason why? Proportional. Look at this. So I can adjust the modeling light proportionally to the stop that I'm on, which gives us a really good visual of what we're doing. So in the beginning of the tutorial, I am showing you everything with a live view video feed with the modeling light, and I'm actually shooting modeling light. Light behaves as light. When the strobe goes off, we're gonna get the same effect as we get with the modeling lights. We just got a color temperature difference, and when I do the portfolio shots at the end, you're gonna see we're gonna be working with the strobe. But for most of it, we're adjusting, fine-tuning the modeling light proportionally with this system. So once we've taught you all the basics, we will be using this power pack, which is a cute 2R 2400 pack that I bought this in like 2001. It was the first big pack that I owned, and we'll use it to fire off the ring flash because the ring flash doesn't fit into a D1 head, so you need a power pack for that. So everything else pretty much fits on the D1s, and we'll be using those for our modifiers and light shaping. So the important takeaway from this is light is light. You may have a similar flash system. You know, this thing goes off and, you know, it's a big flash of light. You know, if you have something that does that, you're good. Okay, guys, here we go. I know you're tired of listening to me talk. Let's get down to the nitty gritty and learn the basics of lighting the face. All right, guys, so we're gonna talk about how to fire these bad boys whenever you wanna hit the trigger. So, easiest way, cable, right into the unit, into your camera, boom, you shoot it, goes off. Not good, not wonderful. You got a cable running around, it falls out, you're gonna miss shots, it's annoying. So what they come up with? They came up with radio transmitters. So, one popular one is a pocket wizard. So I take one of these units, I plug it into the ProPhoto D1 head, and I've got this one hanging off the head, and I've got this one going to my camera, and voila, there we go, we have light. Now, I've got one light firing, right? Let's say I have multiple heads, and I want to fire them all. How am I going to do that? Well, most flashes have the ability to go into a slave mode. So we put this sucker on slave mode, and now I hit this, it's gonna turn that off, and it's gonna give, well, look at that. It went right off at the same time. Holy smokes. It's simply this. This gets triggered when that one fires, and it's so fast that we don't even notice it by our eye, and the camera can't pick it up. So they fire at exactly the same time to get the same result. Watch this. You press this one goes off, immediately that one goes off. We're in business. So you do not have to have a ton of these. You need to have one transmitter, one receiver. You hook it into the light, and the rest of the lights can be in slave mode, and boom, they all go off together, not a problem. All right, so we've got a sync cord. We've got pocket wizards. But the pocket wizards, there's one downfall to them. They can fire the light, but that's about all they can do. ProPhoto has the air remote. The air remote has the ability to fire the light and also control it. I'm lazy. Guess what I like? I like my air remote. Why? Because I can adjust the power right here. And if I hold it down, it goes down one stop. If I hit it each time, it goes down in increments of 10th stops, and boom, I can fire just like that. So I usually use the ProPhoto air remote with my D1s. The really nice thing about this is that the receiver's built in over here. I don't have an extra set of batteries or something. I got batteries in this thing. I don't have to go, if it's really high, I don't have to adjust anything. I can do it all from right here. The end result is the same. The flash is gonna go off when you press the shutter. You just have to figure out what's the best for you. Sync cord, pocket wizards, air remote. All right, we're gonna talk about flash sync speed, guys. And this was a major issue for me when I first picked up a camera. I didn't have a clue. I was getting this black line through all my pictures. A lot of my pictures came out black completely for like the first 2 months I was shooting. I remember I was like in a park, in Central Park with some lights, and I was shooting them. I didn't know why I was getting this black line through my pictures. Flash sync, guys. You gotta know it for your camera. So this is a Canon 5D Mark III. And the sync speed on this is 1/200th of a second. So if you go faster than that, you're gonna get this weird black line in the bottom of your pictures. You don't want that, stop doing that. Like, just go slower shutter speeds. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna shoot at the sync speed that's rated for this camera, the maximum speed I'm supposed to shoot at, which is 1/200th of a second. And we're gonna take a shot. We're just gonna shoot this ProPhoto head as it strobes against the background. We are using the Air 1 remote, and we're shooting, and we've got a nice clear picture of the strobe hitting the background, clean and simple. Now, let's say I just don't know about sync speed of the camera. I don't have a clue. And I'm just gonna go up to a 2/50th of a second, and I'm gonna take the same picture. All right, I look at the back of my camera, and for some reason, something strange happened. There's a little bit of a black line. I'm missing part of the frame. There's a black line at the bottom of the frame. Not cool. It's just not cool. Let's go up even faster now. Let's just see. As you realize, I'm at 3/20th of a second. Here we go. Oh my gosh, now it's almost halfway up the screen. We'll go to 1/500th. And we're like 3/4 of the way blocked. We're getting black everywhere. This is crazy. This is just something that you need to know. It's something I didn't know when I first started. I found out, and I never messed it up again. What's happening is that there's a curtain in here, and there's a speed that it can get out of the way of the sensor. So if you go over that maximum shutter speed, what's gonna happen? The curtain's not gonna get out of the way in time, and it's gonna cast a shadow on your sensor. And you're gonna get this black line, and you might not know why it's there. I didn't know, but now you know. What you really wanna do is just keep this puppy at the maximum sync speed, because you're not really gonna gain anything from going any lower unless you're mixing in some other sources. But otherwise, just keep it at where it's rated, keep it easy on yourself, let it go that way. Guys, if you don't know the sync speed of your camera, just Google it, you're gonna find it. This one, I just Googled it, it's 1/200th of a second, or I could have tested it. I just go up until I see the black curtain, and I go back one, and that's usually where the sync speed's gonna be. So most of you guys, this is simple. You probably know this. Like, you know, if you shoot strobes all the time, it's a piece of cake. You know where you're at. But for me, when I first started, it took me like 3 or 4 months to figure this thing out for some reason, and that's why I'm talking about it today. I want everybody to be aware of it and never have to deal with that issue again. Guys, now we're gonna talk about the inverse square law. So what is it? It's basically light fall off. I love light fall off. I'm crazy about it. I use it every day. I need to know about the inverse square law. But do I need to think about the fractions and the mathematics behind it? No, I need to know the concept. So here it is for you. We got a ProPhoto D1 right here. It's blasting light at me, no modifier on it, and it's shooting light across this paper. We're gonna put a tape measure up. We're gonna measure 1 foot increments down this paper, and we're gonna measure the light source as it falls off. All right, you got that under control? Here we go. We got 1 foot right here. We got 2 feet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get the gist of it. Okay, guys. So now we're just going to get a little technical, a little mathematical on you, and we're going to put it all up here, and we're going to see how it all plays out. All right, guys. So the reason why this is so important, I'm going to go over the equation here. The inverse square law is essentially the intensity of the light is equal to 1 over the distance from the light squared. And why this is so huge is because of light fall off. I'm a big shooter in light. I love fall off. I love playing with it. So this equation is really important to me. Not on a daily basis, but in my head, I'm aware of it. So the reason why, the distance from here to here, there's a huge amount of fall off in the first foot. But when I go 8 feet down, the amount of fall off from 7 to 8 feet is like minimal. All right, guys. Got my trusty marker. Let's get into this. So we're gonna mark these up. 1 foot increments, 1 each. So this is 1, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna square these. So we're gonna square these to get the inverse square law. Put a little 2 on each one of them. Fire it up. There we go. Okay. Yes, my handwriting's terrible. Just deal with it. So, so we're 1 squared, right? So 1 over 1 equals 1, right? 2 squared is 1 over 4, right? Well, we're going to do 100%. 100% light, right? 1 over 4, 25% light. It's hard to write on this thing with it moving, but that's what we're doing. So, 3 squared, 1 over 9, or what? 11% light. 4 squared, 1 over 16. 1 over 16 or 6% light. 5 squared, 1 over 25, or 4% light. All right? 6 squared, 1 over 36, 3% light. 7 squared, 1 over 49, 2% light. And 8 squared, 1 over 64, 2% light. Every time you double the distance, you drop the amount of light 75%. It doesn't matter if it's a foot or if it's an inch or it's a yard or whatever. Doubling the distance is going to drop your light 75%. So watch. from 100 to 25 in 1 foot. Now we're gonna go 2 to 4 feet. We're gonna drop it another from 25% to 6%. Then we're gonna go from 4 feet to 8 feet, and we're gonna drop it from 6% down to 2%. Every time you double the distance, 75% Gonzola. You gotta understand this. This is huge. This is why it's so insane. Look at this. We're at 1 foot, right? We're at 100%. A foot later, we've dropped a quarter of the, like 3/4 of the light. 75% of the light is gone right here. And then off on down. So when we get back here, the difference between here and here is essentially the same, both 2% of the light. That's crazy. This is photography, guys. This is what it's about. You need to know how important do you think it is to the distance of the light from the subject? Now you know. All right, so guys, now we've learned what the inverse square law means. Now, do we need all the mathematics and the mumbo jumbo to take pictures? No. Do I think about that on a daily basis? No. But what is important is this concept, that from here to here is a huge 2-stop difference. And if I want to cause a shadowing on somebody's face, what's that mean I have to do? I got to put that light source really close to them. If I want to flatten their face out and I want the same intensity on their nose as I want on their cheek or their ear, what am I going to do? I'm going to move the light source further away. Simple as that. Think about how far we can get. If we want really flat light, we're going to move our light sources way, way back. Think about how far away the sun is. The whole earth is like lit up. Like there's very little fall off at all anywhere whenever the sun's shining at us. So get your light sources really far away if you want to flatten stuff out. If you want to really have some major fall off, get your light sources as close to what you're shooting as possible. So now you got this. Well, in this next example, I'm going to translate this into how you put this light onto somebody's face and really drive this home. Hey guys, so here we are. I got my buddy Kahari here, and we are gonna test this inverse square law situation going on. So I plastered him with a pro photo head right in his face, so I'm gonna let him close his eyes for this one. I'm gonna test the light, and we're gonna look at the fall off. So keep your eyes closed. All right, good. So we're at f22. Let's go to f22 on this. I'm at 200th of a second. And we're gonna take a shot. So what you can see is amazing. So you get really nice light on the nose and the cheek, and then as soon as it hits his cheek, boom, black, falling off. You can barely see, you just see his ear creeping in there. Now watch this. I'm gonna move this back a couple feet and we're gonna keep going. It doesn't really matter how far we go. I just wanna show you the basic gist of this. So we'll go back a couple feet. All right, we're kind of trying to keep everything about the same. And we'll do a test on the light, right on his nose. Keep those eyes closed. Okay, we're at 5, 6, 8. So I'll go to F8, which is basically F8. Okay, we'll go to F8. We're at 200, we're going to F8. Let's see here, F8. Hold on, keep those eyes closed. I'm going for it. There we go. All right, so now you can see his ear, and you can see the fall off is a lot. It's starting to get softer. Now the ear is in. Let's keep going back and try it again. Let's go back here. Let's try this. Do it again. 2.8. All right, let's try it at 2.8. Going 2.8. There we go. And now you can see even more of the back of his head. All right, now I'm going to put it all the way to the wall. Let's see what this does. All right, we're going to get it back here as far as we can. I think I'm going to have to up my ISO a little bit to get this to happen, but let's try it. We got it pointed directly at him. Let's do a meter reading. All right, so guys, we're gonna up the ISO on this. I'm gonna go to 100. And now I'm at f2.8. Okay, so guys, I'm at 100 ISO now at f2.8. Let's try it. Good. From that, you can now see that the contrast from the front of his nose to his ear is a lot more even, and now I can see the back of his head. So this is the best thing about it. When you're looking through magazines and you're trying to figure out, dissect images that you've seen taken that you really like, that you want to recreate, you're now going to know exactly how far away that light source is. You can tell that we had that thing right up on his nose for the first shot, which had like ridiculous amounts of fell off very, very rapidly. When we move it back, a lot less fall off, a lot more detail. When you look at pictures, I want you to keep this in your brain and keep thinking about it. So throughout the course of the tutorial, I am going to be shooting them. They're going to be looking directly at me, but I'm going to be varying the distance of the light away from the subject in order to figure out how much fall off I want and how deep I want those shadows to go. If I want to open up those shadows, you now know I'm going to move the light away. If I'm going to close them down, I want that light really, really close. All right, so I have Cersei here and we are going to take some shots. This is really one of the major ways I use the inverse square law is I vary the color of the background with it. I like to change the color of my backgrounds. I have a white Hurley Pro White Matte Pro board back there, and I really like to make it go a nice gray, and I'll go different tones of gray with it. I can make it white, I can make it any tone of gray, I can make it black. So we're just going to show you by varying the distance of the light from the subject how the inverse square law changes the color of the background. So let's just do a meter reading on her here, and let's check this out. Okay, I'm at 2.8. We're at a 100 ISO. We're at 1/60th of a second here at 2.8. Perfect, Cersei. Hold that right there. That's great. There we go. Okay, and now I get her exposed, and I've got a fairly white background. If I wanted to go all white, I could either strobe it or I can move her right up against it. So it's going to fall off a little bit to gray. Now I want you to watch. I'm going to move the light closer, and we're going to stay on the same angle. I might lower it a little bit as we come closer, because otherwise it's not going to hit her properly. So now we're right about here, and we're going to do a meter reading and see where we're at. And I want you to watch. Okay. That's at 5.6. So we went 2 stops to 5.6. And we'll take a shot. And now I want you to watch. The exposure on her remains the same, and the background now starts to go a little bit closer to gray. Guys, so see, the background went a little bit more gray there, but let's really prove our point. Let's get this light right up in there, and we're gonna hammer her with light. I'm gonna make sure the light's not in the frame, but I would like it as close as possible. Actually, I like to shoot the light in the frame and then take it out and retouching, but we'll keep it just like this, and we'll see what that does. Let's take a meter reading. All right, we're at 11. Let's go F11. And here we go. And we'll look at that. And now we have a nice gray on the background. Now, I like to vary that gray from an 18% gray to even darker all the way to black. In order to do that, I could either move the light all the way in and have to retouch it off, or I just move her away from the background. So Cersei, come take a couple steps forward for me. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, stop right there. Hold that, and we'll move the light back to approximately where it was. We're gonna shoot it at the same exposure because I'm guessing that's where it was. I mean, we could test it again, but I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be right about where it was, and it is. So it was actually a little bit closer maybe. And let's just try this. Hold that, it's in the frame slightly. And let's just take a shot. Perfect. And now we've got a really deep thunder gray. And now let's just go for total blackness. Come on back more, Cersei. Now it depends. Yep, keep coming, keep coming. Keep coming. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I pulled her way far away. I'm up against my wall. I've got the light out here. If I want to see how dark that background goes. Fantastic. Now we're talking. All right, guys, so we're gonna talk about hard and soft light here. I've got Cersei here. I'm gonna shoot her with a ProPhoto with just a zoom reflector on it. We're talking about hardness and softness of light. The softness of the light is determined by the relative size of the light source and its proximity to the subject. So imagine the sun. The sun's huge, but it's so far away that it's a very hard light because it's so small relative to the subject. So we're gonna show you some hard and soft light. So we've got a strobe here with a zoom reflector on it, and the light source is very small, and it's gonna be a very hard light. I'm not taking this picture to take a good picture. I'm taking this picture to prove my point and show you some shadows and stuff like that with a hard light. So we're gonna take a picture of Cersei here. Hold that. Good. And now you'll see from the shadowing, very hard shadows, hard light. Now we're gonna soften up the light, and we're gonna show you the difference. All right, guys, so I've replaced this zoom reflector with a medium softbox. There's some diffusion in there, so the light's gonna be a little different. So I'm gonna take a meter reading again. Okay, I went to f16, so let's just go to f16. Perfect, let's just look right in there. We're going f16, and oh my gosh, guys, look at the difference in the softness of the light on this bad boy. Holy smokes. See those shadows? See how nicely formed they are now compared to before where they were just really crisp and sharp? This is the biggest thing. I'm a big soft light guy, so I like modifiers. I like big sources. Let's just try it once more with an even bigger one and see what it does, okay? Watch this. We'll put the bigger one on. Okay, come on back in. Okay. Wow. Scoot back a little bit. There, right there. Hold that. Now I'm gonna test this again, and I'm gonna shoot with it in the frame a little bit because we don't really care about the pictures. This is to illustrate our point. Let me do a test and just see. Scoot back a little bit. Yeah, right there. I do want her in the center of the light. Okay, it's about the same at f16 because this one has a little bit of diffusion, but not much. Let's just go in here and take a look. Same angle of light, didn't change the angle of the head. And now let's look at the shadows on this one. Wow. Totally different. Softened up quite a bit there. So let's imagine we were outside on a sunny day and it's noon. We basically created noon sun with that first shot, right? We got harsh shadows, we got stuff showing in the face and shadowing going on. I like going outside when it's overcast. Why? Because it's soft. You got a huge, ridiculous softbox, and that's what we're creating in here. So you've got nice soft light. You soften up those shadows. Shadow density evaporates and goes away, and now you get a nice, really soft, beautiful light. So now let's say, see how soft that light was and how close the softbox. It's a big softbox, but I've got it really close to her. Let's say we move it a mile back. Now it becomes a really small point of light, and it's gonna harden up again because it's further away. So it's really how relative to the model where the light is that determines whether it's hard or soft. Now we're gonna talk about something that you can change, which is very important, which is the shape of the light. If I put this Magnum reflector onto this ProPhoto head, look, you can see the straight head out like that. I'm gonna put a reflector on it. Watch how we're gonna change the shape of this. So we're not gonna change the size of the light source, but we're gonna change the throw and spread of the light by adding a grid. So as you can see, the Magnum is the same size, but we've completely changed the shape of the light. All right, now I wanna show you one more thing. Let's look at a very unique shape of light. Let's put on here, let's throw a beauty dish on here. Watch this. So notice here, we have a dark center, and spilling out over the edge, we have a brighter side to the light, where the light skirts out the side of the beauty dish. This may be a similar size to a medium-sized softbox or an umbrella, but the shape coming out of it's totally different. We're gonna go into more detail later, but I wanted you to realize right here, right now, that the shape of the light and the size of the light are two different things. If you want to be a well-rounded photographer, in my opinion, you have to nail natural light. It's the way I started. Everything starts there. So why not be able to mimic it and bring natural light into the studio? Really important for your skill set. I want you to take pictures that people look at and they can't tell whether you took it inside or outside. I want you to do the same. I want you to take strobes outside and mimic studio light outside as well. But in this section, we're going to teach you how to bring the sun into the studio. When you're in the studio and you want to make it look like you're outside, you ever have that situation occur? You want to be able to take lights and kind of give it a look as if so that somebody doesn't know whether it's natural light or not. I love that. I love tricking people, and we're going to do some tricks to show you how to make it look like natural light in a studio. There's two types of light that we're used to seeing, either direct sunlight from above or diffuse sunlight through clouds. So we want to replicate both of those. So think about this. How far away is the sun? Well, let's go back to the inverse square law. Think about this. How far away is the sun? How far away are clouds from our subject? Pretty far away, right? So we need to get our light as far away from as possible to our subject in order to replicate natural light. So even though the clouds are much closer than the sun, when the sun comes through the clouds and diffuses it, the clouds are still a mile up in the sky. They're still far away. It's not like the light's right here. So we're gonna get this as far away from our subject as we possibly can, and it's gonna be a hard, small light source. So guys, because the light's so far away, we're gonna strobe this sucker, but you can see just from the modeling light, look how sharp this detail is on this shadow. Very similar to what you would get if this was direct sunlight. Good. Guys, look at this operation. It looks like he's standing outside in front of a white wall, does it not? On direct sunlight right in his face. Does not get any easier than this. This is actually easier than shooting outside, because if this was really the sun, he wouldn't be able to look straight in the camera without being totally abused by sunlight. So let's do noonday sun. We're facing Kahari due south. We'll just do noon, which, by the way, if you are shooting outside, this is the best place to have the sun. You always want it directly behind your back if you want to get shadowless, or as shadowless as possible, which for most of my photography, I like that. All right, so let's see how this looks. We have shadows now coming directly underneath the chin, and the shadows all going behind him. And the sun is rather, this would be like winter sun. I only have 11-foot ceilings in here. So this would be, in the winter, the sun is lower in the sky than it is in the summer. In the summer, the sun's gonna be straight up in the air, and you're gonna get shadows straight down. In the winter, the sun is actually lower in the sky. So this would be like a noonday in the winter. So now, let's say we wanna create an overcast day. We still need the sun very far away, but we need to create, it's gotta be overcast, so we need a big light source. We don't need the small light source, we need a big light source. So when you have a studio, the way that I recreated in my studio is that I use the ceiling as my big light source. I have a white ceiling. If you have a white ceiling, you can do this. And I'm gonna bounce light off the ceiling to create a diffusion of light falling over him. So what I'm gonna do is I'm simply gonna turn the light around. I'm gonna fire it into the corner of the wall so that it bounces back on him. Because I've got natural colors all over the studio, I'm not even worried about it. It's just gonna fall off on him beautifully. So let's try this. So we're just gonna do something like this. I'm just gonna blast it up in there and see how it falls off onto him. And then I can adjust, we'll see how diffuse it goes. Let's just take a look at that. Wow, softens it right up, really soft. Since the light's directly at, I'm pointing it directly at the wall, it's going back that way, we're still getting shadows under here. Let's say I want to cast the shadows a little off to the side. I'm not going to move the light, I'm just going to point the head into the corner. And we're going to hit that corner, and now our light source is going to become that corner. And let's see how that does with him. Now we've got a little bit of side light going on. You can see from underneath the chin that there's a little bit of shadowing going on over here, but it's so diffuse, the shadow off to the side is totally gone because we're just blasting light all over the room. All right, so we're gonna do air conditioning lighting here. we're gonna turn it a little more so it slams the air conditioner. And we're gonna see if we can get a little bit more side lit on him just to see what it does. I highly recommend getting an air conditioner that is color balanced for your studio. All right, see how it's side lit? So the air conditioner lighting is fantastic. You just bounce it off there and you get a little bit more side light out of it. You can see the side of his face is going a little dark. You get a little more shadow. Pretty cool, guys. I'm having fun with this. I like what we've gotten so far. I'm a big fan of air conditioning lighting. I want to try and go even flatter and softer. So I want to bounce it around the room even more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a massive softbox, and I'm just going to point this sucker right at the back wall. I'm going to actually lower it a little bit. Now the only thing I might be concerned of is flare into my camera, but I think we're okay like this. And I'm going to get a little bit of bounce off here from the direction I'm pointing it. So I'm going to get a lot of downlight. The strongest bounce is going to be right here, which is over his head, but I'm going to get fill from that back wall with this. So it's really going to look like an overcast day with light down on top of him. And I'm probably going to bring it a little bit this way so we keep the main light source off to the side. So if we do see any shadow, it'll be over in here. So let's try this. Guys, I just love this. I mean, it's just so simple. I mean, you have to have a white room, obviously, and I'm getting bounce off the floor, and the floor's, you know, warmer, so that you might have to adjust your white bounce. Obviously, I've got a linen backdrop here that's getting something hit to it too. So you got to, depending upon your surroundings, you want to watch what light does when you blow it around the room like this. But I'm amazed at how it looks like he's outside on an overcast day. Really, it's just super cool. Guys, bouncing is a tool that we all use as photographers that can't be underestimated. I'm bouncing light all the time off different things, off V-flats, off ceilings. We have the ability to shape this light to make it look more like natural light and to put it wherever we want it on him. We're using it very subtly here and bouncing it around the room, and I'm just loving the effect that we got here in this shot. So now we're gonna put the light source behind him and take shots as if the sun was behind the subject, which I like to do, so we're gonna try that. Now I've got the light behind him. We're just gonna take a shot. He's gonna go a little bit dark, but then we're gonna bring some fill in. We've got some bounce off the wall, so he'll light up slightly, but let's just see what this looks like. So guys, this is a correctly exposed shot, but it looks like he's outside, right? It looks like the sun is just blasting him and we're overexposing it. It's just abusing his head. All right, we're gonna stop down the camera and we're gonna darken him up a little bit so we get more detail on the side of his head. So I'm at F8. Let's go down, let's go F11 and see what that does. So now we've lost detail in his face. I'm at F16. We're gonna bring the V flat in and see if we can open up some of those shadows and then adjust properly and try and even this out. For this example, I think it's great to see how we can fill with some V flats, and you could use reflectors on both sides or whatever, and get them a little bit closer to your subject and try something like this. I happen to have big V flats in the studio, so it's kind of nice to be able to fill and see what we can get. Now I can lower the light, which I can't lower the sun. The only way I can lower the sun is if I lower my camera, and then I can get the sun lower on him by going down, but I'm gonna get more sky, and it's dependent upon what's in the background outside. In the studio, we have more control, obviously. So I think this is a great example of what it would look like if he was outside on a bright sunny day and the sun was behind him and we were filling from the front. It's a simple technique that you can use outside, but just make sure you have assistants and reflectors, or I use buildings, I use sides of mountains, I use, it depends on your environment and where you're in, but if you're looking for a good place to shoot, I like big walls that bounce a lot of light on my subjects, and I'll use that outside, so be looking for that. It's rare that I recreate natural light in the studio. But if you want to be a well-rounded photographer, this is part of your balancing act. You got to know this stuff. You're technical in your back pocket when you're shooting. If you need to, if a client says, hey, can you make it look more like natural light? It looks too much studio. You add one of these techniques in. So let's get this stuff away and we'll move into some modifiers that I use on a daily basis in the studio. When you buy a light, it comes like this. Bare head, nothing on it. If you want to change or modify it, you're always going to add something like this. So to change hard light, most of the time it's a simple reflector. To soften the light, we're going to put something on top of the light to soften it that it's going to shoot through. But for hard light, we don't want to shoot through anything. We want to shoot it straight out and just harness it or focus it with a simple reflector. So soft light can be really forgiving on the model, and where you place it matters obviously, but it's forgiving. So, you know, if you get it a little bit off, you can always tweak it and, you know, play with it and get away with it. With hard light, you're not getting away with anything. Hard light is going to give you some ridiculous shadows and some dense shadows. So you have to really watch where you place this hard light. I shoot a lot of soft light, but it is possible to get awesome shots, and obviously people do this all the time with hard light, and I like messing with hard light too. So that's what we're gonna do now. Hey guys, so now we're starting to rock and roll. We've got the inverse square law pinned down. We just figured out what hard and soft light was. We know that the source real close softens the light, and moving it back hardens it. So now we're gonna work on key lights, and we're gonna talk about each key light that I end up using and building up little looks for each light. So we've got the PHOTO D1, and we're putting a simple zoom reflector on it, which just shoots the light forward. There's no real modifiers, just basically a simple, very simple reflector. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you some things. I'm gonna move the light around. I've got Cersei here. I'm gonna move the light around her face. I'm gonna bring Kahari in. I'm gonna move the light around his face. Our goal as photographers is to make people look good, obviously. So I don't wanna put the light in a spot where it's not gonna make her or Kahari look good. So we're gonna experiment and find the spots where the light is gonna look best for our subject. Okay, so we've got two cameras here, one recording and one that I'm doing stills with. And we're gonna, every time I move the light, we're gonna be recording that, and you're gonna be able to see exactly what we're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna take this ProPhoto head off the stand. I am gonna point the light at Cersei. I'm gonna move it around. You're gonna see it because we got both cameras here set up, and you're gonna see me actually moving the light, and we're gonna show you where it could look good, where I might wanna place it, and where I would never wanna place it, where sometimes you guys are placing it there. So I wanna make sure that you don't anymore after this video. So let's do that. All right, so guys, most people, when they point lights at a subject that's human, they put it up here and they put it at a 45-degree angle like that, and you get something like that, right? This is like a standard move. Now, as the light goes closer and more this way, look at the way the shadows go. Where you position this is extremely important. Look at the shadow around the nose as I come in. I come in, I go out. I go up, I go down, I come in, and I go out. I can lengthen that shadow on that nose. I can move further away and we lose the exposure, but we get a harder light. So now, places where I don't like to go, look at the shadow on the nose there. I'm not thrilled by that. I can't stand this action. As humans, when we walk around outside, we have sun from the sky coming down on it. We're used to seeing shadows fall from above. So when you uplight somebody or side light them, it's a little bit strange. So if you look at, and especially if you're on a hard light, you're gonna get a really hard shadow. So you're gonna get some weird things mostly with the nose and the chin, and when you go like this, the lips create weird things. Or if you go up and you're lower, look at the nose shadow on the light. That's weird. Uplight's really weird, you know, but if you're doing an ominous shot or something really weird, you can go crazy. Obviously, it's art, so you guys have to decide for yourself. But if I was gonna shoot this, a beautiful model, if I was gonna shoot her and make her look most beautiful, I like the flattest. I like to get, if I'm doing hard shadows on the light, I like those shadows to be small. So I don't want the nose reaching out over there. I'll bring the light in like this, and I like it like that. Or I'll come up like this and I'll watch the shadow under the nose. I don't want the shadow under the nose doing that. I like it to be like that. Guys, another thing is I love getting light in the eyes, so I want you to watch this. I like the light right about here. So I got light in the eyes, I've got very little shadow under the nose. Watch as I raise it. Look what happens to the shadow of the nose. And look what's happening, the eyes are getting darker. Right? Look how strong that shadow is. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to vary that shadow under the nose, so I'll bring the light down here. So you have to watch this when you're doing this. Guys, I like catch lights in the eyes. I've always been a big fan of lighting the face properly and then letting the catch light do what it does. But if I don't get a catch light in the eye, sometimes it leaves the eye a little bit flat, and I want a little something something in there. So I'm also watching for when this thing gets in there and creates a little bit of a catch light in the eye. And I also like watching this cheek to see where the shadow's falling on this cheek over here. That's very important to me. If I go up, sometimes I'll point it directly. I'll just put it right above the camera so that it's straight, and I watch the shadow right underneath the chin here. And I can vary that with how high I'm going. And then I get really nice flattering flat light. Most areas that I'm looking at are areas around the nose, around the chin, and around the eyes. I want to get light in the eyes. I want to limit that shadow around the nose. I don't like it out here. I want it tighter. I want it like that. And then I'll put this light exactly where I want it. All right, guys, so lighting from above most of the time, 99% of the time, because we're always lit from above. The only time we were ever lit from below was from fire. If you want to look this weird, if you're doing something crazy, then you go light from below. But that's just nuts. I mean, if you're doing beauty light. So guys, this is a really hard light. If this was a softbox, I'd have more versatility into it, but if with a hard light, I'm not gonna just light it like this. I'm not gonna go off to the side and plaster like that because it's not gonna give it any wrap. So if this had a softbox on it, maybe I'll do that, and we'll show that later. With women, I like lighting really flattering. I like the shadows to be filled and stuff. With guys, I like harsh light. I like to get shadows in there and get some shadow density and some darkness and stuff like that. So we're gonna bring Kahari in and we're gonna show you some of that. All right, guys, so I got Kahari in here, and we're gonna do some lighting on his face. Now, guys, I don't worry as much about shadowing. I kind of like it to be a little harsh, but still, I'm watching where those shadows on the nose go, where they go under, same thing under the eyes, but look at these cheekbones. Now, he's got them, so I love messing around with his cheekbones because he's got the bone structure. His parents hooked him up, and so we're good. All right. So I got chin, I got jawline, I got cheekbones. I can light him up from behind to get the shape of his face with kickers. I really like the fact that I'm gonna sculpt his face with light. And you can see as I change it, look at the light wrap around this cheekbone right here as I'm moving it around. And look at the chin, look at the light under the chin. It's all the same, but it's with guys, I don't mind going a little harsher. We're a little rougher around the edges than women, so I'm okay with that. On men, I like to accentuate right in here, right below the cheekbone, in front of the jawline, this area of the cheek, right here. That's the area that I'm shooting for to figure out how to fill. Usually it's done with a kicker from behind. All right, I'm gonna go behind Kahari and I'm gonna work the kicker in onto this side of his cheek. So let's check that out. I like using multiple lights, and I like light coming from behind. And I'm usually going for a little bit of you can see if it's hotter, it might be too hot, but sometimes I'll just do very little, and I'll vary the angle depending on the camera angle, and I'm looking for light right in here, right in this area to just glance off of them. And with darker skin, you don't have to kick as much. Like this is gonna be too hot. It takes very little to kick dark skin compared to lighter skin. Look at that cheekbone, guys. Look at this. I can go up here and I can really light him like that. Guys are way more forgiving than women, so I'm happy to do it. Most of the time when I'm positioning, I'm always watching what I'm doing, and I'm looking at the light and experimenting with watching shadows and where they go. Guys, let's say you don't have a modeling light and you're shooting strobe, and your modeling light isn't powerful enough to do this kind of situation, or you're in a room where you can't darken it out. You're gonna have to experiment. You're gonna have to blow the strobe off, look at the light, decide what you wanna do, change it, and shoot again. Trial and error, guys. It's all about trial and error and figuring out. But I want you to really know, if you're putting this light here, to me this becomes your light. It may say Pro Photo on it, but it's your light, which means that this is your light coming out here. Did you want that light like that? Or did you want it like this? Is this the way you wanted it? Is that what you decided? You decided that this is the move you wanted. You wanted his nose to go right into his eye and shadow it. That's what you wanted? If that's what you wanted, it's your art, you go for it. But if you're a commercial portrait photographer, I don't think this gets you much work. So we gotta make sure we're putting the light in places where we're making people look good and we own our light. This is your light. You gotta make it happen. All right, now we're getting into it. We're gonna start shooting. So when I first start, I'm using hard light. I'm big on clean, shadowy, clean faces with limited shadows. But for this, we're gonna shadow up the face just a little bit, but I'm gonna start with a clean light that I really like, which is very similar to an on-camera flash. It's very simple to do. So I put my strobe head right above the camera. I pointed it straight at her. Now where I'm gonna watch, if she goes with her head, go down, Cersei, with your chin, and then go back up. Go back up, keep going up. I'm watching this shadow underneath her chin. So let me go into the camera, chin down a little bit. Hold that, keep going down, keep going down, keep going down. Now come back up, 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 chin out, forehead out, like this a little bit more. There you go, right there, hold that. Hold that, beautiful. Chin up, nose this way a little bit. Hold that chin up a little bit. I'm watching that shadow underneath her chin. Chin up just a little bit, right there. And I'm shooting when it was limited. I'm watching when it gets to its smallest point, I shot a picture. She'll blend into the background a touch. So if I want to pop her off a little bit, I might start adding lights. I might start adding some hair lights. I might start adding some light on the side. Why don't we add a hair light to this and see what we can get? So I've got the key light at level 9 right now. I'm moving in. It's another ProPhoto head on a Magnum reflector. We're using these things, we're shooting the modeling lights just for showing you. So I might move this around, but I've got this at 6.0. So it's, oh no, I've got it all the way down to 4.0. So this is the least amount of hair light that I'm gonna have with the proportional modeling light. So I just wanna light up the back of her hair and a little bit of hair on top of the head, just to give it a little bit of separation. Yeah, and that looks pretty good. And now I've got that little highlights in the hair. All right, guys, so there's a little hair light action for you, and now we can bump it up. So I go, let's just bump it up a little bit. I'll come back here, and I'll go up. I'll press it in, and I know if I go 2, I'm at 6. So this is at 9, that's at 6. Let's just see it, 6.0. A lot more hair light action there. I like subtlety in my hair lights and stuff like that, so I might not go with something like this, but if I've got a black background and I want to really pop her out, I like putting light from behind. So let's say this bores you. It's a little too flat for you, you want to introduce some shadows. Let's just try this. Let's just raise our key light up. I raised the light, but I kept it pointed straight at the background. So I'm actually shooting her more in the fall off, and it softens a hard light that way. So let's shoot it and just take a look at it and see what we think. So you can see from that shot, much more shadow underneath the chin, right? Now let's try actually pointing the light at her and see what that does. So instead of pointing straight at the background, I'm gonna point it directly at her. And the center of the light's gonna be directly there. It's just gonna be higher. And now there's more power coming out of it, but it looks about the same. Let's just see. And we can compare the two to see what we've got. Now we've got a little bit of shadowing going on under the nose. Now we've got a sharper shadow because we pointed the light directly at her. If you shoot somebody and fall off on a hard light, you're gonna soften the shadow a little bit. If you point it directly at them, you're gonna get a much sharper shadow. All right, guys, let's go a little higher. Let's even go higher with this shadow and check it out. Let's see what it does. Let's just get it way up there. Now I'm gonna have to adjust this again, and I can't reach up for it. So I'm gonna adjust it, and then I'm gonna fix that, and then I'm gonna bring this up to where the hot spot is exactly where I want it. Right about there. Okay, Cersei, chin down a little bit. Hold that right there. And now we've got a much deeper shadow underneath, and we're starting to get shadowing under the eyes. We're actually shadowing the hair light from behind now. And we're starting to get a little bit of shadows under the cheekbones, which I do like. So guys, this kind of lighting is used a lot in fashion because you've got high centered light with, see the little definition that's coming out in the cheekbones, which is really nice. And we can start to fill the shadows a little bit because of the deep shadow under the neck, and we can limit that. But I really like what's going on with her cheekbones at this angle. Very nice. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna go massively high. So I just pointed the angle down a little bit, and I'm just gonna bring this sucker up like you would not believe. We can go really high. We can go all the way up to the ceiling. Let's just see what that does. Well, we can go up to there. That's pretty good. I can go past it if we move it, but that's gonna be fine. Let's try this. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. Hold that, Cersei. Now we just got a lot of crazy shadows. Now we got shadows galore. We got bags under the eyes. We got a lot of shadowing down under the neck. The cheeks look kind, it is a nice kind of shadow under the cheeks, but now I'm getting shadows on the laugh lines. I don't like that so much. So, too high for me. I'm losing the eyes a little bit, and all this shadowing on the neck's just killing me. So I think we want to find a happy medium. I think we want to find a place where, it feels really right and not going that high, but maybe we want to bring in a little bit of the cheek. So guys, when you light and you get a light that's creating shadows over like the skin, you're going to get anything that shows up in the skin that's like a bump or a line or a wrinkle or anything is going to show up with a shadow in it. So immediately you shoot women like this, they're going to be seeing all these things on their face, and all the details going to come out, and they're going to, so you want to be very careful with that. So guys, that last one, I really like the last one where we got a little definition under the cheek, but we didn't get bags under the eyes or anything like that. So maybe I'll put it on that level and I'll look at what the shadow under the neck's doing, and I might say, I like the cheekbones getting a little definition, but I want to open up the neck. So I might either throw a strobe down below or a reflector or some other light in there to light that area, but making sure I keep the cheeks the way they are. So I might put black cards next to her, but fill from the front, so I still get the cheek doing that. So let's try that. I moved it forward a little bit. Now I'm sculpting her face a little bit, but I'm also watching that shadow underneath. So she chin up a little bit, forehead out. Yeah, watch when her chin goes up and down too. Watch, go chin up for me. It changes the shadow completely. You keep going down. Look at how low the shadow's going compared to when she's higher. So when you change, keep your chin like right there. So chin down a little bit more because I want to get those cheeks there. Right there. I like the cheeks there. So let's try a shot here. Can you just hit your hair off this side so I can see your cheek a little bit more? Good. And then the forehead out right there. Hold that. Good. Let's just take a look at this and check it. I wanted to bring the cheeks in. The most important thing I'm going for is that cheek lighting. I don't need this much hair light. I certainly don't need the hair light creating a shadow on my background. So what I can do is I can just raise it up, get it out of the way. It's not really producing much on my image, but if I want to do something like that, I can still keep it in there. And now that the light up top isn't going to affect it as much. Let me see how that looks. There. I still have a hint of hair light, but now it's off the background, so it's not distracting us. If I want it to be stronger, I can beef it up. Let's take a look and see how it looks. Now I like it really subtle, though. I'm big into subtlety. So I like that her cheeks are coming in. I don't mind the shadow underneath the nose, but I wouldn't mind filling that shadow underneath the neck a little bit. But I still want to keep the shadow around the cheekbone. So this is a foam board. I taped a piece of reflective, silver reflective pattern on one side, and I've got just pure white on another. It's a very cheap way to make a reflector. I like it because it's small and I could just throw it across the room and I'm not worried about getting dirty. It's a mess, right? But it does the trick. So if I want to flatten it evenly and I open up a shadow evenly, I'll use the white side. If I want to really kick it a little harder, I'll use the silver side. So the silver's definitely going to give it more contrast and a bigger kick. And you can see when I put this on Cersei, it's like a huge difference in the light on her face. There's a lot of uplight coming in here. Lots of uplight. So I work in subtleties really well. I think that's way too much. So I'm going to go a lot softer. Now I'm going to watch the shadow density. I'm looking right here and I'm watching. Look at the difference. I bring the shadow. Look, I can even go here. It starts to fill, fill, fill. Now there's very little shadow there. So I want to even. So since I'm only shooting her face and I'm not really worried about the body, I can bring this in right here and have Cersei hold it. Can you hold that right there for me? And let's take a shot of that. Perfect. Look at the difference. Now we've opened up that shadow. We still have the shadowing on the cheeks. I've got the shadowing on the cheeks, but I've opened up this area a little bit from before, which is really nice. Guys, it's a huge difference. You decide. You're the artist. You decide what you like. I'm just giving you a way to fill that shadow underneath and still keep a little bit of the detail around the cheek. You want to watch that so you can limit it. You might like the hard shadow. Go for it. You might want to open it up. You could do it like this. You could actually put a light underneath her and open it up that way and maybe have more pinpoint control over it as well. So, hey, when you're looking through magazines, you can look for these. You'll see these lights now and the shadows under the nose. And when you see it a little bit softer, you're going to know that this light was above and then there was a fill somewhere that came in to open up that shadow a little bit. Guys, look at this. We got two lights. We got one here in front. We got a simple hair light, which we could leave there. We don't even need it. And you could do this as a one light setup. It's a nice light. We threw a reflector under. Simple, easy as that. Let's see how the guy looks. Let's see what Kahari looks like in this situation. And let's let Cersei take a little break here. Go ahead. Thank you, Cersei. All right, guys. So here's the same setup I had with Cersei, and here's Kahari in it. Now, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's okay. You know, I feel like I don't need a hair light on him because his hair's really low and it's just creating a distracting reflection back there. And I feel like the light's really symmetrical and he's a dude. So I do like the cheekbones and the way the light goes in here. But I'm just gonna move the lights around a little bit. I'm gonna use the same two light setup and I may use my card, but I'm gonna move the hair light down to more of a kicker. And I'm gonna move the key light down and maybe angle the light a little bit. Let's try something different with the same setup, very similar, just moving the lights a little bit. Check this out. So guys, here's a little key for you. I moved the light a little bit on Kahari and I moved it off to his left. I haven't really checked that car. I think Kahari's really symmetrical. He looks really good. But most of my lighting, I always favor the left-hand side of the face. And sometimes I'll bring the nose towards the key light. So that's why I always favor it and always start out my lighting with all my lights on the left side of the frame. So, but the way Kahari looks, I'm gonna keep him straight in, but I'm gonna watch that shadow on that face, and I'm gonna watch the shadow under the nose. So I might lower this light a little bit, or I might create a little bit more shadow on the face. Let's see. I'm watching this area right in here as I move this light, because I want to see what it's going to do. Now, see how I'm pulling it this far and I'm getting a big shadow across the nose? Maybe I want to limit that nose shadow, but I want to make sure the light goes right into here. Maybe bring it down a little bit to raise that nose shadow. Bring it in a little bit. Something like that, where I still get this light falling off right here, but the nose shadow isn't enormous. I want to try something like that. Let me just see something. Right about there looks good to me. Let's try that. Let's try a shot like this. Look at where that light's falling off. Look how I limited the shadow on the nose. I've got some light over here. I've got some shadowing over here, and the shadow falls off right by that cheek. You guys, I love this stuff. I love creating shadows on guys, and especially guys with faces like this. Like, this is amazing. Now watch. I want to bring some light into this area. I'm just looking. I'm like, I just dying. It's like getting shot. It's a nice shot. But if I want to fire up a little kick in here, I'm going to take that hair light that we had before. I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to point it at him, and I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to try and fill this area very subtly. from behind. Let's try that. Guys, as I move this, I'm looking for the amount of kick that I get into this cheek and where it's falling and what it's doing right in this area. So I don't want to light it up too much. I just brought it down to 4. Oh, that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. So I'm getting I'm opening up this shadow right here from this previous shot. This area, and I'm just barely opening it up. But I'm opening up from the back, so I get a highlight here and then really soft on the cheek. So let's just take a shot of that, and I'll show you how I can move that's it. Hold that, Kahari, perfect. Really nice. And guys, this is money for guys. Whenever I model, I saw a dude like him and going against some job like me, and he's all cut up like this. I didn't have that. I don't have that kind of stuff. I was like more your all-American guy. I was like, this guy's gonna crush me. How am I gonna get the job when there's a dude that looks like that over there? So see how I just opened the shadow up really simply. I barely kicked it. Like I gave it a nice little fill. It really opened up that side of the head. Now that's because I'm this far to the side. I want you to watch as I move the light straight back from behind him, how it kind of skirts off the face. This is more of a fill, and then the kick will probably come if I skirt it off the face, something a little bit more from behind, but I have to see it on this angle. Yeah, that's more of a kick. So the more to the side you are, the more fill you're gonna get, and the more from behind, the more of what I would consider a kick, which gives you a lot more highlight around the face. Let's try this. And let's take a look at that and compare the two. You're basically getting light to skirt off the skin. Dark skin, it's a lot, you don't need as much of a kicker as you would think. You really want to limit your kick. So instead of doing a fill, now I'm doing a kick. When it's further out to the side, it's a fill. When I go in tight, it's more of a kick. Now let's power that up and see if we can get full power on this. We're going from 4 to 10. And I want you to watch the kick now. Now I just blew him to smithereens. I just basically went ballistic. And I know a lot of you guys are doing this, so stop doing this. I'm not a big fan of kickers where you just blow everything out. You don't need that. I saw it at the lowest power. I saw the kick. This just distracts me. The whole picture is compensated, and I think you just lose you lose the whole look of the picture because you're distracting people's eye. You're totally crushing the picture, in my opinion. Maybe you can find a happy medium there. I'm very into subtlety. I need that little tiny kick for me to be happy. My artist inside just wants a little kick, that's it. But let's say you don't want to go totally blown out. You're not good with the subtle. Let's go halfway in between. So let's go, we were at 4.0, we went to 10, that was too much. Let's try bringing it back, and let's go to, let's try 6. See what the difference is. 2 stops difference, 2 stops difference. All right. And this is the way you work, guys. You've got to see these changes. I want you to develop your eye so that you see these changes as they're happening. Now you got a pretty bright kick. That's a little bit too bright for my taste. But if you want it to jump a little bit more, there you have it. We could also reposition this and try and hit this area a little bit more. Now I'm hitting in this area a little bit more, but he's smoking off the... It's real close to him. So since I'm moving it closer to open up that cheek, I'm gonna go back down to 4, because for me it's gonna be way too hot like that. Well, let's try it at 4 and see. Now I opened up that cheek a little bit. Now we got that area opened up. Now it's a little bright. I'm creeping into frame with the light. Let's just try and move it back, but we're staying on that same angle. For me, it's a little hot, so I'm gonna stay on this same angle, and I'm just gonna move it back. Now we know the inverse square law, right? So this is where it gets really important, because you know the closer it is, the more impact it is, the further away it's not gonna do as much. So we gotta keep fiddling with that to make sure. Yeah, now it's nice and subtle. Let's see how we do here. Good. Now we've got this area, and now it's nice and subtle, and it's more like my work. That feels like my work to me. Did you guys see how many times I changed that and what it did every time I shot? That's a kicker. You would think that that's not that important. You think you just put it behind, you point it at them. No, I had to move it all around to get it exactly like this, exactly where it is right now. To get it to where I wanted it, at the height I wanted it, filling this area perfectly, I had to move it, I had to shoot, I had to watch it, I had to do it again. I want you to experiment like that. Did you see the subtleties? I took it from 6.0 to 4.0, I took it back down 2 stops, and then it was a little hot, a little closer, I moved it back, and now I got them right where I want them, and I got the light where I want it, and now I really could work. Now that I set it up and I got it, then I might be able to, me, just so you know, I work on expression every time I'm shooting. We're doing a lighting tutorial, so Kari and I are shooting a bunch. I probably wouldn't do that, but if I get once I'm set and I'm shooting, then the lighting's done. The technique's out the window, right? Everything's set. You're not moving a thing. You love it. You want to do it? Then you just work with your model. Guys, so I'm pretty happy with the way Kari turned out on that. So I'm gonna bring Cersei in and we're just gonna show you, we're gonna plop her in there in the same lighting, and we're gonna show you a woman compared to the men's lighting setup, just the way we did it, just to see what it looks like. So you guys mind flip-flopping? Well, obviously she has lighter skin, so I've overexposed the first shot and I gotta recalibrate. So let's do that. Let's just bring it in a little bit. Good, let's check this out. Let's take a look. See what we can do. So we're getting a kick, but the kick's getting blocked by hair. We get a little bit of it here. The hair will always block your kick. So Cersei, just in the first shot, she kind of throw the hair off that shoulder. Leave it in front on this shoulder. This shoulder, there's no kick, so it doesn't matter. Hold it like that. Bring it, and chin, forehead out and down. There you go, right like that. Hold that. Good. Now we should get a little kick because we moved the hair back. So let's just see. So we do. We get a little kick in there, but it's coming through the hair a little bit. So this is why I always like, I really like women in ponytails when I'm using kickers, because there's nothing to impede its progress of getting to the skin. The kickers are really nice on skin. I do use kickers as hair lights when the hair's down on both sides, so we could try that. Bring all the hair in front on both sides, and then there you go, right there. Hold that like that. Perfect. Hit this hair out of this eye a little bit. I don't like hair to approach eyes like that. Good. And then we will see that we've got the hair, the light that we're using as a kicker hitting the hair and just brightening it up a little bit, which is nice. So I'll use that as a hair light. Sometimes I shoot with kickers on both sides of women and a hair light, and I try and keep them all even so it lights up the hair really nicely. On Kahari, this shadow underneath here didn't bother me at all. But on Cersei, this dark shadow with that sharp line is something that I'm just not thrilled with. So let's try filling it in just to see with our card. So I might use something like this with women that I don't use with guys. So we're just, and we only need to fill from this side because the shadow goes harsh this way. So I'm not getting as much fill here as I am here. So Cersei, can you hold this like this? Hold that like that. Good. We're making the models work today. Hold on. Good. And now I've limited the shadow. I've taken the shadow way down from where it was from the shot before. I've opened up that shadow quite a bit. Now let's just, for kicks, let's just try it with the silver side. So I'm gonna, but what's gonna happen, here, let go for a second. Let go, it's okay. What's gonna happen with this is it's gonna change my lighting completely, because this is so powerful. It really bounces the light right off here. So it's gonna completely change my light. But what are we? We're artists and we experiment. That's what we're supposed to do as photographers. So we're just gonna try it. All right, hold it like that. So I get a really strong kick now, and I'm changing my light completely. Good, and we're gonna try that. Now I've really opened that up. All right, guys, so here we go. So we just got a shot of Cersei using the silver reflector, and it really opened everything up. And I'm liking it. I see that if you look at the neck, there's a little more shadow here. So I just want to bring that silver reflector around a little bit. I think I like this the best, but I want to bring it around a little bit to make sure that I can light right in here. So I might either introduce another reflector or bring this up higher, and I'll fiddle with it until I'm liking, until this is all even. I don't want this uneven at all. So can you hold it like that? Hold it there. Now this is gonna be in the frame, but I don't care because we can retouch it out. If we're just going for the face, I wanna try and even that shadow out so that it doesn't appear that I'm trying to do anything artificial. I'm trying to, see how I evened it out a little bit from the shot before? Go forehead out and chin down. There we go, hold that. Hold that right there. Go down a little bit more with your chin. Yeah, like that. Good. So if I bring the chin down, I'm digging into where that shadow is, and then she's coming down, so that board should be kicking up. So guys, look, I don't want you to think that you can't light men and women the same. I just want you to know that there's differences. If you have a model like Cersei who looks gorgeous, I can throw some hard light in there with some shadows and stuff, and it might work perfectly well for me. You know, it was the Kahari light that I liked that I threw her in, and it works pretty well. I threw the little silver kicker in, and it looks pretty good. There's some women that you'll throw in there and their features just won't handle it, and you'll know the minute that you do it, and then you have to soften the light and change and regroup and change where you're positioning your light and all that sort of stuff. And you use one of the other techniques that we're going to teach you. You got a light, you want to put a modifier on it? Simplest, easiest one ever created, right here. Some dude was walking down the street like this, and he was a photographer, and he said, wait a minute, what if I take one of these and I turn it this way and I blast light into it? What's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, umbrellas just became the modifier of choice for photographers for quite some time. Simplest, cheapest, easy. Everybody pretty much uses them one way or the other. We're gonna show you how. Okay, so there's a variety of umbrellas. There's size differences. There's white on the inside. There's silver on the inside of this one. And this one is a translucent shoot-through umbrella. So I've used all three. I use all three in different capacities. We're gonna find out what these suckers are made of and fiddle around with them a little bit with Cersei here. Okay, so what we're doing is we're putting the light head in this way and reflecting light onto our subject with the umbrella. That's basically it. We're making the light source bigger, we're softening it with white, and that's the way we're gonna start. When we go to a silver umbrella, and we have a bigger umbrella, now we've got a little bit more contrast, probably because it's silver, which we'll try. We've got a slightly larger umbrella, but still, we're reflecting the light. However, when you go for the translucent umbrella, we're gonna put this on the front of the light, and instead of reflecting back at the model, we're gonna point this sucker right at her, and we're gonna soften the light because the light is gonna go through the umbrella. It's gonna act like diffusion to really soften that light and spread it out. Okay guys, I'm gonna start with the white umbrella, and I'm gonna put it, we're gonna go modeling light. There we go, we're proportional on the modeling light, right? I'm looking at the shadows under her chin look really good. This actually looks pretty nice. Let's see where we're at. Let's see here. Chin down a little, Cersei. There you go. All right guys, so notice how much softer it is than a direct light. We got really soft light, very little shadow under the nose. We got really no shadows under here, and it's nice. I mean, for a simple modifier, you can't beat this. Guys, this is definitely the easiest way to soften your light. They're cheap, they're easy. You can buy them super cheap. It's probably the cheapest light modifier available. One thing that's really interesting is that you can change the depth of the umbrella to the light source, which changes how hard or soft the light is. So let's pull this in. We're hardening the light because we're hitting it off the center of the umbrella. Now, if we pull it out, we're softening the light because now we're hitting the entire umbrella. And there's not a hot spot. So let's shoot it all the way out first, just so it holds right about there. Let's try that. Really simple. Let's just go. And let's look at this and compare that to when it was in its normal position. Softened up a little bit. Now let's give it a hot spot. Let's go in a little bit. Let's try that. And let's look at the difference. It's going to be a little bit harder. So guys, see this shadow here? It's a little bit harder when the light was has the hot spot than it is when when I go back here. You can see it's a little softer, and under here it's really nice and soft. All right, you know what, we did this. Let's try turning the light around and shooting through an umbrella and see what that does. I like keeping the translucent umbrellas a little further away so you don't get that hot spot in the center. And you get nice soft light. I'm watching the way the shadow's falling to decide how I want this to fall. You can see I can change the light completely. Let me try. Feels pretty soft like that. I'm gonna go right about there. Is that in the way with my lens? No, I'm good. It's off camera. Cersei, chin down a little bit for me. And let's look at the difference. Forehead out, chin down. There, right there. Good. It's a little more powerful when it shoots through like that. So let's just, I'm gonna raise my shutter speed a little bit. Just go to an 80th of a second. Because I'm shooting with the modeling light, I can adjust my shutter speed on this and I'm not concerned. If it was a strobe, then I'd probably go for the aperture. All right, so it's real bright in here. It's concentrated here, and then you can see over here it's not very bright. And it definitely hardens the light. All right, watch the shadows on her face and I push and pull it as I push and pull this. Watch the shadow by the nose, right? Softening, softening, softening until this is as far out as I can go without the thing falling off this sucker. Super soft light, watch. As I pull it back in, we harden it right up and now we got that shadow around the nose. Look at the umbrella. I mean, you can see that's a hard light there, and watch, when I get it out here, I'm lighting the entire umbrella now. All right, so my next one. I got a PHOTO&RETOUCH soft lighter. It's a silver umbrella. It's my favorite. I use these like crazy. So I can shoot it with, let's shoot it with the silver. So this is the silver on the inside. Let's put it on. We'll turn it back around. Put it on Cersei. And give it a little bit of flatness to it. Just bring it maybe like that, and then we'll look at it. And again, I'm looking at the shadow by her nose and seeing what I can do with this sucker. It looks pretty flat light to me, but let's try it. It's silver. Let's see what we got here. Let's check the difference between this and the other umbrella that we had. I love the material of the PHOTO&RETOUCH soft lighter. Not only does it have that ability, this sucker also has shoot-through ability, but silver inside, so it's pretty interesting. But the key, the thing that I really love about it is I can put a diffusion over the front of it. So you can see how the shadows form around with the silver. Let's put the diffusion on the front and check it out. Take it off real quick. Slide it in. It's got a nice little sock that goes over your light. And you got really nice soft light, guys. Beautiful. Make sure you get it on there, otherwise you burn through the sock. I burn when the studio starts stinking like it's on fire, you're burning your sock, so be careful. All right, now remember, we don't care about if it's in the frame, do we? We don't care about that. Beautiful. All right, so with the diffusion panel on the front, it's going to be softer and you're going to lose a little bit of light. So this is also, it's similar to a softbox, which we're about to get into. It's also an umbrella, but it's containing the light a little bit more. You're not getting light flying all over the room with this. All right, guys, so notice how much softer it is than a direct light. We got really soft light, very little shadow under the nose. We got really no shadows under here, and it's nice. I mean, for a simple modifier, you can't beat this. This is definitely the easiest way to soften your light. They're cheap, they're easy. You can buy them super cheap. It's probably the cheapest light modifier available.